Good morning.
Uh-oh. We are doing it. Okay. 5 more minutes to get it started so people can start logging in. Do I need to click to allow people in? I'll be doing that for my computers. Oh, you're my hero. Thank you. You would think that I would know Zoom better, but not from the hosting side. I attended.
Will this stable too? Or do you want
Which one? Oh, yes, please. Okay. Yeah.
It's good to see you too. How you doing?
No worries. But I'm not afraid to ask for.
Enjoy it night.
It's called leverage, right?
I know.
We leverage our resources.
That's right. He is a great instructor. She has a lot to teach.
Oh, I'm just home. Love you, Kristen.
Love you too. See you later.
Oh my gosh. She and Lionel are the whole reason that I am here at KW.
Okay.
I was an escrow officer for 18 years prior to coming here. So I was an agent, but then I got into the escrow side of the business on that side of the desk. So then I did that for 18 years. And then when I was looking at stepping away from being an escrow officer, Lionel reached out and he was like, so hey, we want to create a transaction coordination department at KW. Like, would you consider coming on board here and creating it? And I was like, absolutely. So, 3 more minutes. Yeah, so it's been awesome. Obviously, 2015. 2015 is when I left escrow and came on board here. So you just moved to the area
I did. I got here in June.
in June. Okay, so fairly fresh. And I knew that I saw your name come through. It's like, hey, new agent here. So were you an agent before? Hello.
So yeah, I was an agent in Arizona.
In Arizona? Okay. And how long were you an agent there?
So I've been an agent for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of split it between resale and new construction.
And new construction. Okay. And then were you like KW in Arizona or is Kelly?
No, I was with a local broker here in DC.
Oh, yeah. I think I know that book.
How the heck are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Staying busy this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Hey, good morning. I put a steak in the freezer for you. It's in the door. So
Really?
it's just it's a holdover steak. That's
Yeah.
thanks for your patience.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Right?
I didn't know we were getting steak today. I didn't sign up. Jeez. My steak is still in the pasture. A couple more weeks.
Right. That's right.
Right?
We'll butcher more tomorrow. We got hogs and steers getting butchered tomorrow.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Who do you have? Do yours?
4-star.
4-star. Yeah.
Wait, Billy, one, just one?
Yeah, one for you and then one for that's just I haven't done your
Thank you, sweetie.
I haven't done your whole what we discussed. And one's Corinne's.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Now, your daughter's part of she's doing Marcus Steer, right?
Yep.
Which group is she with?
So Blue Ribbon Errands
Blue Ribbon.
is our 4-H group.
My daughter, she just joined Triple S.
Oh, okay.
So,
Blue School Bush here.
well, that was the thing. Which, oh, by the way, did I tell you that your wife is amazing? She is my absolute superhero, just so you know.
She said she kind of gave you some
Oh, yeah.
good pointers when it was
Yeah, I happened to run into her at the fire station. Didn't know
Right.
she worked there.
yeah.
Coincidence? I think not. So she was helping me out with blood testing, like telling me about the blood test for the cows to check if they were pregnant. Well, before I got those orders, they dropped a couple little bull cows. So
Okay. Well, I guess you got your confirmation.
yeah. Would have been nice to know. Then I've just learned recently, because cows are new for me, that the ladies told us that they're not like lousy and wormy and like all this. So I'm like dumping massive, like trying to get a,
Oh, man.
like the lady saw us coming from a mile away.
Oh,
And this is the one that after we had agreed to a price and loaded the cows, because it's been Sydney's dream. Like, I want to be a cattle rancher when I grow up. I'm like,
yeah.
cool, we'll make that happen. Our hay guy was like, hey, I know this lady that has a couple cows she needs to get rid of. Guy had dropped them off with a heifer and a steer on their side to get rebred. Goes through and it's been 6 months. The guy's like, oh, just sell them to cover the cost of what
you got it.
what I owe you for the feed and whatever.
Right.
So we had an agreed upon price. And after they were loaded, and I was like, okay, Merry Christmas, girl. Here's your, dreams come true. Have a bird. After they were loaded, and my daughter and husband are in the back, like finishing wrapping things up, moving cows, and it's just me up front. The lady comes up, wants an extra $1,600 more for it.
We're like, well, you can unload them.
I did it because I totally got taken. I was like, I can't tell my daughter that, oh, sorry, unload them. Like, not after everyone's like, okay, here's your dream, like insta herd, here's your little starter herd and your dream and
What
Merry Christmas.
what did she say about? I thought we had an agreed price. What changed?
Oh no, that was just that was just the cost for the cows, but you got to pay an extra 16 for the steer and the heifer on their side. That didn't include the cost of.
Out of walk.
Well, at that point, and then not being that familiar this spring when they were like, thought they were just itchy. I'm not itching on with horses. They get itchy when they're shedding, right? Like, so you gotta, no, that was all the lice, which then they got her show steer. I mean, so it's been a thing.
It's a compound effect.
Mhm, yeah.
That looks like a good.
So your wife has been my superhero in helping me out. Like,
Good.
yeah, she's amazing.
Well, not that.
Clearly. Oh, hello. How are you? Hi. Say hi. I think we got what? Oh, we are 2 minutes over. So I'm Mia. What was your name? Mackenzie. Mackenzie. Nice to meet you. Yeah. I know Billy from forever ago, different industries even.
Right.
Right. So we give each other credit. And Mike. And so, Corinne's doing her thing. I personally we're good. So quick background for those of you that don't know me and people on Zoom. My name is Mia Shoemaker. I'm our backup reviewing broker here. I was the reviewing broker, but as I mentioned, I took a step back from that with my little guy with COVID. So I'm Angela's backup. I'm always here for questions, help. I'll share my contact information. So if ever you need anything, I know Angela and I are both good about, we know as agents, it's not a 9-to-5 job. And mostly you're working in the evenings. So essentially if we're up, we make ourselves available because our job is to be support for the agents. I was originally licensed in 1996. And then I spent 18 years as an escrow officer before stepping back to this side of the desk, coming on board here at Keller Williams and creating our transaction coordination department, and heading that, and then also transitioning to being backup reviewing broker, then reviewing broker, back to back. So with all of my experience in closing escrow transactions over the years, I estimated I've got about 15,000 or more transactions that have run across my desk. So different scenarios, you name it, I've probably seen it. And also work in construction. My husband and I have a construction company. So new construction, I specialize in closing those kind of escrows and transactions because I understood that side of it. And I grew up with a general contractor uncle working for him and a real estate agent aunt working for her. So literally have just grown up in various aspects of real estate. So yeah, I'm available to be a resource to help support you guys. Today, we're going to talk about connecting with our market. So this is a new version of Ignite. They just revamped everything last year. Has anyone here taken Ignite before? No. Okay. So your first time taking it, my first time teaching this section, so we'll get through it. I'm hoping we have 2 hours this morning, but I kind of want to power through the presentation part because I want to wrap the actual presentation up early so that we have time to do some deep dive, digging into our local market here and pulling the actual numbers, the data, and working on making sure you know where to find that information, because we're going to talk about in here how that's important and how we're going to use that to communicate with our clients. So we got to know where to find it and how to dig that out. Got your guide here. Let's slide this up. All right. All right. So that's So we're going to talk about knowing our market, building our expertise, utilizing our resources. That's where to find that information. And then in subsequent classes through Ignite, we're going to talk about how to then have the conversations with our clients to work around that. So quick survey. You said you've been in the industry 12 years, just moved to Oregon here in June. It's a new market, new area. How long have you been in real estate?
I just got my license in May.
In May. Okay, it's pretty new. I know you've been about 6 months.
I got my license in January and
January.
pretty much,
Yeah.
3 to 4 months of full-time real estate.
Nice.
So, pretty green.
Yeah. So what are, I'm going to do a quick survey because I want to get a feel for where you guys are at before we dive into the material. What are you hearing from clients, from people about the market? What are the things that people are saying that you are hearing in your conversations?
But they're scared about the interest rates and everything's slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely shifting.
Shifting. Yeah.
Definitely shifting.
I hear more from agents about that than I do.
Yeah. So you hear more about
Yeah, how bad things are getting.
from agents. Okay.
Now, let me ask you that. Is that from active agents or is that from lazy agents?
Well,
Because I think there's a difference.
and that is actually that is a brilliant question, because that's always my first question too, is people I'm talking to and people telling me what I need to know. Because everybody wants to tell you when you're new here, anywhere you are, that, you know, they want to avail you of your expertise. And my question that's always in my mind that I want to ask, but don't, is, so how many deals have you closed in the last 6 months?
Mhm.
And is that normal for you, and when did you get into the business? When you got in business 2 years ago, you don't know what it means. So you're absolutely right. So I don't know. I'm very interested in this class because I'm trying to figure out the market. And I've always used Flex MLS, and
Okay.
now I've got, and this one, Paragon does not make sense to me, but to be frank, so
Yeah.
I'm still struggling trying to figure out exactly what's true, what's not.
Yeah.
Because I believe don't listen, the numbers tell the story.
And I think that's huge. So kind of the trend and what I'm hearing, fear. Fear is what's motivated, like that's
true.
what's driving those conversations. So how do we combat fear? Data. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Like I'm the big nerd. I'm the show me person. Like, so that's why I love this segment of the classes, because we're going to talk about, okay, where do we find that? How do we show that? I think, to me, being able to hand somebody the actual data, like I physically print out and hand it to clients when we talk about, okay, this is the market that we want to buy in Albany, and this is what we're looking at. Okay, cool. Here's what the data shows in our market. That's exactly why we do CMAs, right? Oftentimes, especially during the crazy last 2 years when things were running up, I'm doing buyer CMAs when we're getting ready to put together, like, oh, I want them to feel confident in their numbers. I want them to feel confident not only in their list price, but also in their offer price. So not only was I doing CMAs for sellers to list their home, anytime I had a buyer that was thinking about like, okay, we want to write on this property. Well, great, let's do a CMA. Let's give you confidence in your offer price and where the market's at and what it's doing. And then that gives us the information we need to know to be competitive, both in listing and in our offers. So that's what we're going to dig into today. All right. Oh, so yeah. So the truth is, no man is an island, right? If it can be done in one market center or one area, you can repeat it. And so that's what we look to do, right? Like we learn from others, and then we can copy and repeat. So there we go. Yeah, research preparation. All right, 3 types of market: buyer, seller, balanced. Wait. Survey. What kind of a market? What kind of market do you think we're in right now?
It's still seller's market.
Seller's market?
I would agree.
Seller's market? What do you think? Yeah.
We've got 2 months of inventory, and does it ship? Is that 6 months of inventory? All right.
Oops, go back.
Is that
So
right?
here we go.
Right, but inventory doesn't always tell the story. Because they have to be able to buy it.
Right.
Mhm.
If you can't, you could have, 2 houses on the market, but if there's nobody there who can, it's like, then you don't have a market.
Yeah, you have to
It's
have ready,
still-
willing, and able. Key factor, able. I'm getting 2-3 buyer inquiries a week. Step number 1, go get your pre-approval. You might want to buy, but can you buy? And with a lot of first-time home buyer calls that I'm getting, that they've not been through this process before. They're not quite prepared for it. They don't understand. I even have some folks right now that they were pre-approved last year. Well, last year we were at like 3.5%. Where are we at currently?
6.
Yeah. Talk about resources. If you do not have one of the apps from the title companies, I highly recommend having the rep help you get that downloaded, because, for instance, the last title company I worked at was Fidelity. So I have the Fidelity app. Their system brings up the kind of the national average right now. So 6.75 conventional. So 6, I would say right now we're running between 6.5% to 7%. So their pre-approval purchase amount from last year at 3.5% is a much different number than where we're at right now for 7%. So seller's market, less than 5 months of inventory. Buyer market, more than 7 months of inventory. Balanced market, 5 to 7 months of inventory. So what do you think we're at right now?
We're in 2 months.
Yep. So like I said, we are still in a seller's market. But if we look at compared to where we were at last year, we're kind of in a shift. We're seeing a shift and a change in the market, because we had like not even a full month's inventory. So we were, now we're about 2. So we've had a slowdown, but it's still very much a seller's market based on that data. We've got, I have heard so many buyers, I'm waiting for the market to crash, or, I'm worried about the market crashing. Yeah, well, we're gonna look at our data. So inventory. So it's the number of properties for sale within the market. Added you here, and I'm sorry, it doesn't show me on the Zoom, but who knows, like, do you have a handle? How often are you checking the total number of homes available for sale? How often are you checking that data with respect to that? Are you checking it at all? Weekly? Daily? I'm just trying to get a feel.
Probably weekly for me, unless I'm writing CMA, and I usually include that data when I'm writing the
Yeah.
CMA. So then more often. Kind of depends on the week. But I really like the Domus Analytics and the MLS.
And we're gonna hit on
And
that.
it's under resources, and I like that a lot.
And that's not You missed the first part. That's not within here. So that's why I said we're gonna have to try to power through this. So then we'll get a chance to actually dig into that. So you know where to find that information and you can pull it. So what's our inventory? What's the average number of days? What's the average home price? And that's going to vary by market. It's going to vary by town. So I want to dig into showing you where to find that and how to toggle that information so you can have overall, bigger picture for your client and also zoom in on the specific area that they're looking at. So that way you have the data to have those conversations. And then what kind of market are we in? So we're still in sellers, we determined. Interest rates, lender regulations, huge, makes a big difference. Real life sample. So right now I have like golden A++ buyer, life lighteners, $7,400 a month gross income, 750 plus credit score. I mean, like the perfect buyer, right? And do you know how much at current rates that I can get her max purchase price pre-approved for?
And our down payment is.
Say.
What was the numbers?
So she's $7,400 a month gross income, 750 credit score. So she's top tier, like golden. She can tap her 401k for her down payment. So she whichever program.
First time buyer or
First time home buyers,
Probably 430.
I would say 350.
330.
Say,
What do we have available for 330?
got a nice mobile home.
Yeah.
And wanted to buy in Corvallis.
Yeah.
When I ran the search for home prices up to 350 in Corvallis, and this was 4 weeks ago now, how many houses did I find for 350 in Corvallis?
I don't think I found any.
One with a failed septic, and it's a tear down. Okay, let's expand our search to Corvallis Willamette up to 450, just to see what was out there. 330, we can't buy 450, but let's see. How many houses did I find? 6. 3 of them were tear downs or completely gut to spud, like redo. They were not financeable. So those are off the list. So 3 in Willamette up to 450. So she was ready. She was willing. She wasn't able to buy. So that's, again, having the data, having the information. So knowing that we have that inverse relationship. So as interest rates go up, their ability to buy goes down. This is one of my favorite. I'm a very visual person. So the diagrams that I like to use. Okay, as our interest rates go up, their ability to buy goes down. Yeah. So as this is how much they can afford if interest rates are here. This little piece of the pie, because interest rates are up here. Kind of the same thing when you're making your mortgage payments. At first, it's all interest rate, very little to principal, and then it goes. I guess it'd be better to that one goes the other direction. But so very, very small piece of the pie left as interest rates go. Inverse relationships. And we're going to see that a lot in real estate. Economic factors. So not only do we have to consider what's going on in the country as a whole, but also what is in our particular market area that's driving industry, economics, supply, demand. So unemployment rates, do we know what those are currently running in Oregon?
4.5.
Right. I looked it up last night, but then we're on this computer. I saved it. I want to say it's like 3.7. So it's not bad for Oregon overall. And I did not look up specifically for Benton or Linn County. So our market center, Mid-Willamette, we operate in Benton and Linn County are where our offices are located. So we tend to focus on those 2 counties. What's our growth rate? What are we projecting? Is there, when the new distribution center or the new nursing school went in out in Lebanon, did the market there not all of a sudden get hot? because now all of a sudden we have a new influx of buyers coming in. So paying attention to those things can impact your business. So knowing and understanding what's going on in your community can also really help. It can also help you target, a certain segment of the market. Government changes. Right now, lenders are facing huge, tremendous squeeze on their lending regulations and what they're able to do. So that's also impacting their ability to, extend loans to clients. So knowing your market, knowing what's going on, not only just with the real estate portion, but in the economy, in your market center directly. Make sure there's extra things in my teacher guide that I'm supposed to find out too. So I like to make sure I don't skip over anything. So you were talking about doing an open house in the neighborhood. So wouldn't it be important to know, okay, what are the draws to that neighborhood? So when you have clients coming in to see that particular property, you can share with them, oh, well, there's X number of grocery stores, or we're in such and such school district. This is what's available for that particular home, or that neighborhood. When I first started in real estate in the 90s, wow, it's changed so much. Our brokerage, we were assigned a target market area. That was where we were allowed to farm. That was our physical location mapped out, and each agent was assigned where they were allowed to step on toes. So knocking doors, knowing every single person with it, and that was huge because we had a lot of boots on the ground. What are the health facilities? Where I have clients that I have a medical condition. I need to be within X number of minutes from the hospital. What are the neighborhood attractions? They don't have it listed on here. I think it's also important to know what are perhaps some of the cons of a particular neighborhood. Are there certain some businesses that are loud? Are you underneath the airport flyway? What are some, not only the benefits, but also so that you can then have those conversations with clients of, hey, address their concerns for certain things. Okay. So I jumped through a lot real quick, but we kind of had some conversations earlier. So far, what are your ahas? Has it got you stimulated into thinking about your market and picking a certain, not only market in general, but maybe you have a certain niche group that you're targeting, like Billy's on the farm team, right? Farm, make sure I say it right. Farm home brokers.
Farm and home brokers.
Farm and home. Okay. Because I knew you changed the name. Farm and home brokers. So targeting specifically farm and ranch properties. So they picked a certain niche. Now, will they sell all kinds of homes? Absolutely. But picking a niche, maybe a certain market segment, maybe older adults that are wanting to downsize. Maybe that's your niche. What's a different market segment that you can think of? That investment. Yep. So that's a different kind of a client than a first-time home buyer.
Family members doing that right now, so we've been helping them out.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of?
Telecommuters moving out of big cities to smaller rural areas.
There you go. So maybe connectivity being one of the considerations that you need to know for your market area. Like Monroe's terrible, where I live.
Some work with only new home builders, developers, and represent that.
Yeah. So new construction being a whole market segment of its own. So
How is that to break into? I'm just curious.
here, you want to.
But you have some high names to give you.
I'll take.
Right. So, and are you thinking about working with builders, like like representing builders in listing the homes or representing buyers in purchasing those homes or
Listing is always better than buyers, but I'll take whatever. right now.
whatever you can get?
Yeah, I'm just getting started, so.
Yeah.
I'll do both.
Yeah, so exactly, that's, I think a lot of this class in all of Ignite is to really stimulate thinking, getting you to hone in and decide what is my target market? Where is the niche in this area? Finding that niche, finding that need and fulfilling it.
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I just got here and this is really good for me because this is what I'm trying to figure out.
Mhm.
Because right now, because otherwise I could run in all directions and go nowhere.
Right?
So,
Yeah, and that's trying to be everything to everyone.
yeah, sure. Nobody did that.
First, yep, getting hyper focused. I will say in my experience, use your title and escrow companies as a resource. They have, and this has evolved in my years, they have what you call your title rep. They've created it. This didn't exist when I first started in escrow. Now there's a title rep. Their entire job is to be your resource to, they will research and pull stuff for you for free. They will pull forms for free. They will get your trios, your list packs that you need. That's part of our requirement. They will pull labels for you. They have business development. They have, so for new construction and developers, they have at a corporate level, like, so there's a business rep at each of the local title companies, but then there's usually at the, here we call it the quad counties, Lynn, Benton, Marion, Polk. So, and usually the headquarters for the quad counties is in Salem. For all of those, they will have a business development specialist, usually at the headquarters that works directly with developers and construction. So I would tap those as a resource. Like I would talk to the local rep and have them get you in connection with, okay, hey, who's doing the building? Who's doing this? Tap those and start working those leads. So absolutely, they will pull the research. They will hook you up with apps. They will help you. So, and they're a free resource on top of all of our KW Connect, Command, the apps that we have. We're going to touch base on those a little bit. And Corinne is absolutely fabulous in helping with all of that technology stuff. I mean, she's been training weekly to keep up to speed. And I get a hold of her and here, let me just fix that up for you.
It's easier if I just do it.
Yeah, right. I'll be honest, I am not that techie. And that's what I say, leverage.
Yeah.
Leverage the heck out of it. Like I need help and she will. She's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I've been very happy.
Right. Oh, I'm so thankful to have her because I'm like, I need all the help I can get.
Hey, Mia.
Yes.
Lionel. Hi.
There you are. Okay. I see your picture. And then you're speaking over there. Hello,
I just wanted to remind you that those on anyone on Zoom, they can also unmute so that you could get interaction feedback and stuff from them as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And do I need to unmute them or they can unmute themselves?
No, they can just unmute themselves if
Oh,
you ask questions. Yep.
Okay. So everyone on Zoom, please chime in. I appreciate your feedback as well. So just chime in, unmute yourself at any time and jump on in. All right. All right. So yeah. So our goal, we are to be the real estate expert in our market. So understanding the numbers and then being able to not only pull the data, have the data, but we need to be able to interpret the data and then be able to have those conversations with our clients. So it's our job to be the experts. And we're going to talk today about how to make that happen. All right. So now we're going to build it. So we gotta learn our market. We just talked about that. Learn our clientele. We just talked about that. Listen, that's why I was asking earlier, what are you hearing being said? We talked about clients, but also other people in industry. So perception is reality, right? What somebody hears, where do you think people are getting their information about the market?
National news.
National.
Facebook,
Their friends.
their
The guy who
friends.
the guy who couldn't buy a
Yeah, yeah. So probably they're not getting their information from the data from the MLS. It's just some random, and so that's what they hear and that's what they believe, because anything you find on the internet is true.
Yeah.
Um,
That's Gabriel. He's the
exactly.
one who said it.
Exactly. So yeah, keep the headlines in context. The whole job is to sell news, right? They need the clicks to keep their job. So, how many times, I'll raise my hand, have you seen a headline, you click on it, I read the article, and it's so taken out of context, even within, if you read the article, but it got me to click on it. And how many people only read the headline, don't
Yeah.
read the full articles? Like, I had a conversation, input the other day on GMO, and what that really means. Coming from food industry background, I'm sure Billy would have some.
Okay, no comment.
Exactly. We don't go there too often. I try to keep my mouth shut. Clearly doesn't work. Lore, language of real estate. So real estate tends to have its own language, and it's our job as the professionals to know and understand and be able to have those conversations, be confident in what we're discussing about our real estate market. And looking not only at our overall market, but let's look at your personal business, like we were talking about. Hone in on what it is that you specifically want to target and what that market is. What does that mean for you? And being able to track and trend your business specifically. And there's resources within Command where you plug in, and the CRM is great. You put in your goals, you put in all your information, and it'll help you track and build your business. And you can pull reports on yourself. I did it last night, in fact, so again, utilize your resources, not only nationally, a great resource. Well, I'm going to put a note. We'll get back to this because I want to have this conversation and I don't want to get too off topic at the moment. That's an E. Resources. So my goal is that we get to talk about what we have, what resources we have at our fingertips once we get through our slides here. And then so right, like, because we talk about needing the information, but where do we get it and how do we pull it? Like, how do we get that for this specific market center that we're in? I want to hit on that today. So that's why I'm trying to push through relatively quickly, because my guide is a lot thicker than your guide. So, and I'm sorry, I was supposed to point out to follow along and fill in your participation guide as we go, because you'll want to refer back to that. And I found over the years, I still have all of my books and training manuals and materials from clear back in the 90s. I have a ginormous Rubbermaid container and I refer back to that information even now. So it's building that skill set, it's building the knowledge and having the resources. You don't have to have it all up here. You just need to know where to go to get it and have the resources. And you'll find that your Ignite training material is a great resource to refer back to over the years. Or when you're in the middle of something, with Ignite, we're covering so many topics. We're covering an entire industry and trying to condense that into a relatively short course. So we're glossing through things, but then in the middle of it, you're going to find, I want to go back and refresh before I have that conversation with a client about this topic or that topic. So absolutely utilize your materials, utilize the systems that you have available at your fingertips. So learning our market, that's number one. Learning our clientele, again, buyers, sellers, you know, who is it that you're going to target so that you can hyper focus on understanding their needs, wants. Oh, yeah. Does our market benefit or put our clients at risk? Knowing our clientele base and what's going on. So new construction, for example, what was going on a year ago, 2 years ago for contractors? Say you're taking listings and you're working with a builder.
You couldn't get them built because there was so much problems with inbound supply.
Yep.
And you didn't know what your price was going to be from the day. I mean, D.R. Horton was trying to get people, and Tucson was trying to get people to cancel their contracts because they were like, we can't afford to build this anymore.
I can't afford to sell it
Yeah.
because I got more into it than that sales price. Exactly. So basic economic principle, supply, demand. So whether it's in building houses, I mean, we went from, again, I mentioned my husband and I, we went from a OSB, 15, 20 bucks a sheet to $90 a sheet. Like that. It was just incredible. Thankfully, I bought a unit and had acreage horse barn stored in. So we lucked out because we would have been.
They stopped letting you buy volume.
Yeah.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't buy a school anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just, astronomical swings. So then, like you said, prices are up, right now we still have huge demand for real estate, right? Like somebody's got to live, they got to live somewhere. So there's always a demand for real estate. And we're going to talk about, supply. What's our inventory? What do we have available for people to purchase right now? I'll share this number real quick. So this one is for Lynn County. Right now, we have a 2-month supply of inventory, and Benton County is 1.3 months of inventory. So
huge increase. Like when you look at that 1.3 months, what's it say for last year? The same month.
I have these printed out, and I'm going to share them in a minute. Well, when we're done, I will hand these out because that's one of the things on here is to fill out in your guide what your current market statistics are. So that's why I printed these out, because again, these are available as well from the MLS. I'm sure you where to find them. So you will have these resources. But yeah, looking at the trends, looking at the difference. So yeah, so we still have a small amount of inventory, small availability. So what's that doing for our prices? Is our market crashing? No. Is it going to? No. And we'll look at historical trends. And we'll look at it in here. But also giving your clients historical data, obviously not, no promises of future performance, yada, yada, CYA. But historically, real estate's a solid investment, right? So, we need to listen, like I said, grassroots, talking to people, having conversations in the grocery store line. I know one of our agents here that got 3 listings while he was waiting. Like he got the leads and then followed up and ended up getting 3 listings from having conversations while he was waiting in the grocery store line. So you never know where your business is going to come from. One of the samples that they give in the material here is there was an agent, newer agent. He had t-shirts made up. And so people were asking, oh, you're in real estate, how's the market? So people saw his shirt. They were initiating the conversation with the agents. They started with, oh, well, how's the market? Well, funny you should ask. Let's have that conversation. So what a great way to, instead of, hi, would you like to talk about real estate? They're coming to you. So be creative in your marketing strategies. Think outside the box. See what different options, different ways that you can come up with that is going to help you stand out and set yourself apart from any other, agent out there. So we talked about that. Yep, wore the shirt, covered that. So I'll always keep, I say, always keep your business cards on you. But here's one that Lionel shared with me that I thought was fantastic, and I have completely used this, and it works. I have myself saved in my phone as a contact. And if somebody is interested in it, oh, well, here, I'm out of cards. Here, let me share my contact with you. What's your number? And I'll text you my contact information. Now, all of a sudden, I've captured their information. I have their number in the phone. That was my suggestion, and it's been fabulous. So the first thing I did, I have myself saved as a contact, my real estate information, my license number, all of that. And then I just share that out and, oh, okay. And then they give me the number. And oh, okay. Did that come through? Make sure. Now I can go back and, oh yeah, I'm going to save your name. What was your, and then, so that's a way to get a lead capture. So yeah, again, think creatively, think outside of the box. Yep, we talked about persuasive headlines, getting the clicks, getting the sensationalism. I'm trying to get more on script. We talk about scripts a lot. Keller Williams here. Yeah, so the biggest thing is talking about getting our data from our MLS. So, and we talked about this, keeping up with the headlines. I glance through, I get my headlines from Facebook newsfeed. That's about the extent of it. I live in Podunk, Monroe. I do not have television or internet available at my house. So my iPhone is my lifeline to the outside world. And I think it gives me a fairly good gauge of what the headlines are and what's being thrown out there so that I can kind of refute the misinformation. Any other ahas or anything that created a spark for you when we were talking about this last information? No?
I'm not very good at memorizing statistics, but I kind of have a pretty good idea of the Corvallis numbers. But yeah, I would just thought because if you're talking about your phone and saving yourself as contact,
yep,
maybe saving Lynn, Benton, and Corvallis and Albany statistics sheets, like you just showed us in paper in my phone, so that when I'm, somebody's asking me, then I can say, well, how's the market? What do you mean? The Albany market, the Corvallis market, what exactly? And then pull it up and be able to say, well, in Corvallis, blah, blah, blah. But
even better, make sure, and we're getting to this, make sure that you have the KW app downloaded to your phone. And you say, great, you know what? I have an app for that. And it will keep you up to date. And then you share your app, it's branded to you. You share your app to that client, and boom, it's also connected to your command. So it's going to save that person in your command, and it's going to keep tabs on your insights. It's going to absolutely track. We're like, in real estate, we're professional stalkers. That's our job. So it's going to track exactly what they're doing, how they're interacting with that app, what they're looking up, and you're going to be able to pull up and see that information right on your, so our KW command, which I use off of my computer, right? So KW command, we also have our back agent piece app that we get here. So I tend to use the computer. So I think of this as, okay, I'm going to be in command, working here, professionally stalking everyone. All of it's in our CRM, and we can set up campaigns. We can set up searches. We can see what they're searching for. And then we're like, oh, hey, I noticed that you looked at that property. They're going to be having an open house this weekend. Like, we should go check it out. But there's, again, another way for you to share that app, capture, and they're going right into your feed. So it's pretty dang fabulous the way they've set that up. And then be sure to also have your command. I don't utilize it like I should off of my phone because most of the day I'm sitting behind the actual computer screen anyway, because I'm helping with reviewing and doing all of that, which I need to see on here. I don't try to review from my phone. So that, and with that app, it's got resources right within it. So, oh, great, like this will give you a read on the market. You can keep up to speed on what's on the market currently, and you can set up searches for the kind of homes that you're interested in, like, and then give them that tool, give them that value. That's part of your value proposition, which is that's going to be included in your next class in Ignite. So we won't get into that. But be a resource for your clients. That's what's going to help you set yourself apart. So we're going to talk about utilizing our resources. And this is, again, oh, here we go. Ta-da! What did we just talk about? Apps. Okay. So Corinne, again, absolutely fabulous. She has been so helpful in getting me set up with everything. There's tutorials on how to do it online here. You can go to the KW Connect. You can get help downloading it. If you're here today, if you're on Zoom, absolutely, you can get right into the KW Connect to get all of your stuff downloaded. If you're here, hit Corinne up. She does it lickety split. She's fabulous. You can also go to just, if you have iPhone, whatever, go to Google App Store, download it. Again, how are we going to get our business? You want to drive your business, right? Like, you don't want to be in the back seat. You need to drive your business. So social media, huge. My daughter is Instagram. I'm Facebook. She's trying to teach me Instagram, but apparently it's a huge thing. Some of the guests here are like, oh, I didn't even know I had to learn Facebook. I'm trying to learn Instagram. Regardless, whatever social media platforms that you utilize, number one, I would try to hit them all, like get it out there. We have through Command, we have great resources for, advertising, promoting. It's all right within your Command that you can access. They have designs in Command that they pre-do templated things for like the month of July. You don't even have to, you can put your stuff on autopilot. Get it set up where it just goes. Set up smart plans for your clients. But this is kind of the success formula that's recommended. You want to engage daily, 10 likes on posts, algorithms within whatever various social media platforms. They all operate on algorithms. So success formula is 10 posts a day, write 5 comments a day, send 1 direct message. So that's a great resource. If you notice, oh, hey, somebody liked my post or somebody liked my page, then say, oh, hey, like, or somebody commented on your post, direct message them, hey, offer them an invite to your page. Say, hey, would you like to set up a showing? Imagine. It also doesn't matter necessarily how they respond. Just the fact that you're engaging with people on social media anymore. I mean, back when I started in the 90s, we literally were putting ads in the newspaper. Like, I was taking actual photographs of a house. I was pasting them on a sheet of paper. I was on a typewriter typing ad copy and submitting that to the newspaper to be printed when it came out. We had the Sunday paper came out with the little real estate blurb section every week, and then so you plan, oh, okay, we're gonna have an open house next week. We gotta advertise. Things have changed a lot. Everything's instantaneous. So we also have to make sure that we are keeping up with those times. Engagement is huge. Billy will tell you. So we have to work on. All right. But also knowing like, hey, if you have an older segment that's not engaged in that way, knowing your clientele and knowing how they like to communicate. I mean, I have some folks, everything's so techy and we DocuSign everything, but I have some folks that are super old school. They're paper signers. So I got to plan that into, oh, well, we need to be able to have a 3-day response time because I physically have to go sit down with these folks and paper sign everything and then scan it and send it back to you because they don't do this. Like they don't even have an email address. So yeah, knowing your clientele and working with what works for them. So as agents, we have to be flexible and adaptable. All right. Who here has the KW app? You have the KW app. Do you have that, Billy?
Nope.
No. Okay. Because after this class, you're going to have Corinne help you download that, right?
We use Sync.
Oh, you do use Sync. Okay. So you have. Okay.
He's one of those.
So you're able to share that with clients that link into the CRM that you're using, and then
Technically, we don't really share it.
sure.
But we log everything for all of our lead gen and everything we do through that because it tracks our clients' activity.
That makes a fabulous question. I'm gonna write a note. So you use Sync. There are, and it's SYNC if I recall.
CINC.
See, my handwriting is not that bad. We'll double check with Corinne if Sync. So the great thing that I like with our command too is that it has what we call integrations.
Yeah.
And it'll work with a lot of different, it'll sync together with a lot of different CRM platforms if you're not just using command. So we can double check if Sync is one of those, because then you can share the KW app to clients so they have, people like apps on their couch, right? Like I just click here to go check. I mean, even though I send them stuff, how many clients are like sending me, oh, I found this house on Zillow all the time. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Those are the 3 that they always send me. Like, so kind of the necessary evils that we deal with. So we'll double check this because then you can have them, you can share the app and then have it flow in. So you're not manually having it. Yeah. So we'll double check on that for you.
Okay, cool.
That would be handy.
It would be.
So yeah, CRM's huge. Data, there's a whole class on this. But I don't know if that was included. So you guys all have your apps, so we can skip how to download. Who here has a business like Facebook page? No, okay. And
Not that I am at posting to
I'll be honest, never mind.
every minute.
Because I am more on the admin side, I actually do not engage in a lot of the real estate transacting side, or buying and selling with clients. Not, that's not my focus. So I'd be honest, I do not post to my Facebook page like I should. But also it's my focus.
But Mary Ann Honeyman last week had said that, some people have done Facebook, like Billy Scott's real estate and then Billy Scott's personal Facebook. And they found that sticking it to personal, but trying to balance 50-50 business personal to keep it more lively. Was that the stat that she?
Yeah, I think you're really only supposed to use one Facebook, like don't have a second for your business ideally. But I think you said even more of it should be personal, basically so people get to know you and then Yeah, throw in a business thing every now and then to just,
Shares the best
I know you're-
practices that we in the reviewing broker side of things. So we even talked about it in here. We want to use that 80-20 rule, 80% personal, 20% business. However, here's what we have talked about. So you have your personal Facebook page, right? And then, so that's personal. And then we recommend set up a business Facebook page, and I have Mia Shoemaker at Keller Williams Realty Mid-Willamette. That's the name of the page. Having it say at Keller Williams Realty Mid-Willamette is a key component. We have to have on our front of our thing where we're delineating that this is affiliated with Keller Williams Mid-Willamette. So by having that just be the name, any post I make, automatically I know that I've covered the bases, because clearly the post that what you should do is post to your Facebook page for your business and then share that post on your personal page. So if that makes sense, right? So, and within your business Facebook page, again, still follow that 80-20 rule. So 80% of it being about what you like, what you do, activities, things that, and the 20% of it specific to the real estate portion, right? And then you can also be sharing those. And then again, algorithms that we talked about, you can like and comment and share back and forth between your personal page and your Facebook. That's also helping drive that algorithm to help promote your business. And there's further segments within Ignite that talk about some of those things specifically. But absolutely, I would have both, and I would work both things. Personally, do I need to? Should I work with my business page for real estate more? Yeah. I don't. If I did, would that improve my business? Yeah. So that's on me, right? And that's my accountability. Also, we're setting up using our resources, setting up our commands, setting up our tasks, and that we get the reminders. We set ourselves up to where it tells us what to do. If somebody tells me what to do, sure, you betcha, all day long. But if I have to remember it, what's that rule? If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So if I set up campaigns and I set up things through a command, and then it syncs with my calendar and it sends me, I need to do X, Y, and Z today. Well, then how easy is it for me? I'm a checklist kind of gal. You give me the checklist. Oh, okay. 10 conversations, done. Right? Oh, and this is our minimum. So I like to be an overachiever. If it says 10, I'm going to do 12 or 20, right? Like, because we have to challenge ourselves and we have to hold ourselves accountable, but also getting an accountability partner is huge. Having somebody else partner with you is a great resource. So we have resources through the Market Center. Like we have solo agent mastermind group that meets on Thursdays to help support solo agents that aren't on a team, but kind of helps with accountability and education and training. And then joining teams, being on teams that also help, support and track and hold you accountable is huge. Right? You had a question. Oh, okay. What was the question?
I was just kind of clarifying, so you would post personal things to your business Facebook page also.
Yeah, like things like, oh, maybe not related to a specific listing, but say, oh, like spring cleaning, here's what you should do, or hey, spring's just around the corner, here's equinox, here's local events happening in our area. Here's a recipe for, different things. Pictures of, who doesn't like puppies or kittens? There's like, oh, look at this cute little, what have you. And then, but it's getting the engagement is the important thing.
Okay.
That's what really drives those algorithms, which then the more interaction that you and engagement. My parents know I have a rule. My mom, she's always on Facebook. If I post something, she used to like it and she used to comment on it and she used to share it. Those are the 3 rules, Mom. If I like, I don't care, you like support me, right? Like, so because I just need the clicks. The clicks are what counts, right? So success stories. What success stories do you have from working with systems in general or social media specifically?
I'm not a big social media person,
Right.
so just never something. I know I've got a friend in Arizona. She is very good at it. She would always ask me about it. And she has got success.
That brings up a great point. Through Command, we have systems that you can put on automatic. There's going to be a specific Ignite class that will cover that. So I just want to, because again, I'm not disciplined on my real estate page. I'm just not. My bad. So, but if I have it synced and hooked up in Command and I set it up, I'm a big set it and forget it. I love my Instapot. I throw everything in. I can go do my thing. I come back, dinner's done. And I make homemade dinner for the kids, right? You can do the same thing with the social media stuff. There's companies out there that you can pay to do it for you. Or, I mean, you're part of Keller Williams. You have the free resource that, like, they've built. Gary Keller spent billions of dollars to build this program and this platform that's at your disposal. So almost why wouldn't you? So especially when you get to deep dive into that in the class, absolutely take advantage of that. It's not going to hurt. Billy has a success story about social media. Right?
TikTok, is that what you're saying? So
It
you're-
was it TikTok?
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely share.
okay. All right, so we were doing an open house and I tried to do a live video and say, hey, like a 30 seconds or 60-second clip and do a quick walkthrough. Sometimes it's me holding up the phone to my face, which is not as professional because you're the only one there. So you try to knock it out before potential clients show up. This one, my ops manager was there because it was a bigger property. So she could film me. I could, they could see more of my whole body and then I could walk along as she's filming as I walk through the house real quick. So just a quick blurb. And it got uploaded to Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. Instagram and TikTok, it's not my jam. I'm old school. I'm Facebook. That's where I get most of my activity. That's where but either way, somebody messaged and saw that TikTok video and said, sell my house. I'm like, sweet, that's what we're trying to do. We're giving it hell. Well, she's like, no, sell my house. I was thinking it was the owner of the property that I was at. Like, no, sell my house.
Get back to
Like,
work.
oh, okay, well, let me know how I can help. And speaking with her, she already had a real estate agent. So I'm like, from professional courtesy, we're more than willing to help. We can help people out, but you have to talk to your real estate agent. And long story short it was more of a friendship instead of a business relationship is how it was kind of like, you know what, maybe I just need to keep the friendship because I don't want to lose a friendship and they're my agent. I respect what they've done, but I don't know, maybe we just need to try something different. Maybe it's just whatever it may be. So I think it was 24, 48 hours later, she had said they had a mutual understanding, they parted ways. Now I can talk to you about the relationship, but I encouraged her to stay loyal to her agent. I want that shit done to me, and I want that in return.
Yeah.
So it worked out and they ended up being a listing. It hasn't sold yet, but it was kind of a cool story, but it was still one of those, like, you learn a couple things along the way. You learn real quick if you're going to do it with integrity And if that were your listing, would you want that agent to say, hey, make sure you talk to your agent before you go jump ship on them? Because we all know that a lot of us put in a lot of work towards listings, and to have them just go away, it's time, it's money, it's like you don't want that done to you, and I don't want it done to me. So I think that was the main thing that stood from it. But sometimes another part of it is sometimes sellers aren't willing to hear that the property's not worth as much as it was last year or 2 years ago. And having that harsh conversation up front.
Right.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think the other cool thing about this story too is you said a 30-second like media, social media, which again, we're like, but this is a real life example of 30 seconds within like 48 hours translating to being able to get a listing, which then in turn will translate into having a commission. So it really super reinforces the need. That's where we live these days, right? Like that's where, especially younger generations, my daughter lives on Instagram. Like I literally physically have to take the phone. I'm like, you are on a timeout, right? Like we're not doing that. So like 30 seconds to 48 hours later to having a tangible listing, that's a huge success story. Like that's awesome. Like I think that's something we can all, take a takeaway from. Okay, yeah, maybe it's not our thing, but again, put it on autopilot, set it, forget it. Like, it's good to be engaged. It's good to track that and respond, but I'm terrible about remembering to post consistently. And that's what we talk about a lot at Keller Williams and throughout everything is consistency. You just got to show up, just do the daily. You're going to talk about further in the course, your lead gen. Just show up, just put in the phone calls. You don't have to like it, just do it. That's what I tell my kids. It's dinner. You don't have to like it, but that's what we have to eat. This is not a restaurant. So that's going to be a theme that you find throughout all of Keller Williams. And that's one of the things I love about the company. Like I said, I've been in real estate since the 90s. I was in escrow. And when I decided after 18 years to leave escrow, the one and only place that I considered was Keller Williams. And it's because I saw the amount of education and support that this company offers their clients that the other brokerages didn't. I mean, they just didn't. And the resources and the tools. So for me, there was no question of, where I was going to go when I decided to make that transition. Anybody from Zoom land feel brave and want to unmute yourself and jump in? Because we haven't heard from anybody besides Lionel. And I see we have other people in the class.
I was going to jump in when you were talking about social media, but I didn't want to interrupt. And so I kept every time I was going to, I was going to interrupt. So I come from the network marketing world, which is not like real estate, but like real estate in the sense of networking. And I've used purely social media. And a couple of things that I feel really made a difference in my business. I built multiple six-figure businesses on social, just Facebook alone. It's definitely something that you want to integrate, Instagram and all that too. But if you're the type that gets overwhelmed, don't stress on doing them all. Just do one, but do it consistently. As far as Facebook, like business page versus a regular page, you only need a business page if you're going to run ads. Like I am the type that is like, make it simple and most effective. And as far as Facebook, and if you're not going to run ads, you don't need to worry about having a business page. Just be extremely consistent on your other page, on your personal page. And the thing of it is people don't buy. I mean, obviously a house isn't necessarily a product, and I come from the product world, but people don't buy products, they buy people, right? So if you're on there and the only thing you're putting is real estate, but you're not sharing your story, people aren't going to buy from you. People want to know who they're buying from and who you are. They want to see your personality, all of that, which is great for stories. Like he was just talking about on the TikTok, doing a TikTok and right now in Reels. If you do Reels, you're going to get more views than you're going to get doing anything else. Hands down, the algorithm pushes Reels out right now because that's where they want us to go, so that we only have 2-second attention spans. Unfortunately true. Yeah, it's working. It's working. But as far as social media, I think that like for me, that's kind of like where my thought is going on how I'm going to grow this. It's just a whole different sphere for me because my sphere is not local. Mine is all over the entire United States. That's how I built my business, through strangers across America and Canada. And so it's a different mindset for me. But as far as social media, don't overwhelm yourself with having to get, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like pick one. I didn't build my business and I built multiple six figures on literally just Facebook. I didn't connect the rest. I didn't worry about that. Hey, no, I didn't worry about the rest. Sorry, dogs. So I think it's one of those things, like if you can get yourself to be consistent on one, you won't need anything else when it comes to social media. I mean, the others are great and it's great, obviously more visuals. And you can connect some of them. So like you can connect Instagram to where your Instagram posts become your social media posts. You can do your stories from Instagram and then it posts to your Facebook. So then you have two birds with one stone, which is a really simple way to do it. But as far as like social media, I think that like if you're not going to run ads, don't waste your time with a business page. I personally have never run ads. I know there's a lot of people that make freaking millions of dollars doing it. And I keep seeing like them scroll across my feed where if you set up ads for like real estate and I'm like, I'm so tempted, but I've never done ads, and you have to do business page for ads. I do know that much, but I'm excited to get my feet wet just over here pounding the pavement.
Well, and thank you for sharing that, Barbie, because in you talking about like, oh, I don't have the local, I know agents that have, and in their market segment, their entire business is only referrals.
Right.
They don't show a house one. They just take that lead and that contact information and they share a referral fee agreement for a percentage to another agent. They literally are filling out, they're getting the contact information, they're filling out the referral fee sheet, and they are handing it off to somebody else wherever in the country.
Right.
And we have referrals right through our command. There's super easy, click the button, referral. You can find a referral partner anywhere in this country. So if you have a lead for that, find that referral partner, hand it off, and whatever split that you agree to, whether it's 25, 35, somewhere in there is pretty typical. I know literally do not show a house. And they have a private real estate simply off of referrals. So that might be a way for you to leverage your sphere and your contacts that you've built in a way that, hey, also real estate now, you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. You or anyone you know is thinking about buying, selling, investing. I'm your gal. I can connect you.
My thought was to go do like, I don't know, little 30-second like tips on like the market and what's changing and what's updating continuously, kind of that way, and use TikTok that way. I just haven't, like, I'm brand new, so I'm not there yet, but I'm like, I have little notes like putting them together. And the one thing that I did learn through when I was doing it for my business and social media is instead of sitting there worrying about how am I going to get a TikTok done today, I'd take a 4-hour slot in one day and have it outlined of what TikToks I'm going to make and do a 30-40 batch of TikToks so that for the next week or two, I just have to go post. Because
and then roll out.
Yeah, that way they're already made. You know, you just change your shirt, whatever, do a little outfit change, throw your hair up, I don't know, whatever. But I would do that for network marketing. That way I wouldn't have to sit there and think to myself, okay, I've got to get, because TikTok and Reels and things like that, the only way that those work is if you're 100% consistent. They want you to do 3 TikToks a day, even up to 5, which that's a lot of time. So if you do it in batches, it makes it not so miserable.
Right? I mean, that's exactly how they film television shows.
Exactly.
I had a friend that went on, was it Wheel of Fortune? And they filmed the week's worth of episodes in one sitting. They just say Jack, man, light, bring the back, change clothes, come back out. So
it's smart.
Yeah,
gotta work smarter, not harder, right?
Right, exactly. So thank you. Like, what a wealth of information. The other thing we were talking about doing referrals, doing nationwide, especially if you're going through doing the Keller Williams to Keller Williams referral. I don't ever share with my clients that, oh, I'm referring you out. I'm like, let me connect you with one of my business partners that I have my team in Dallas here, this is who you want to contact there, or this is who, like, make it like they're your team. Make it that this is a collaborative, not I'm handing you off kind of a feeling. I think a lot of things is not necessarily what we say, but how we say it. So being conscientious of those kind of things. So that's where having that referral network, and you'll get, if you put yourself into that referral pool, you'll get referrals from outside resources that come to you. Like the agent in Dallas has people that want to move to Mid-Willamette Valley, Oregon. Cool. Who are they going to send it to? Right. So you build those connections, those relationships, and we have a platform right within Command that shares it. You get that lead. Oh yeah, great. Oh yeah, I got a business partner in Tallahassee. Yeah, sure. Well, you plug it in there, and while you're on the phone, you're pulling it on the fly, and you can get, let me connect you with so and so. Like then you're not losing that client. You're capturing that client. You're capturing at least that referral business. You're working with a seller who's listing their house because they're moving out of state. Cool. Let me connect you with one of my business partners who can help you in the state you're moving to. Get the referral fee. So absolutely have those conversations, build that engagement. Maybe they don't have a house. We're selling or we're moving, and like, great, cool. Let's get you connected. Your job is to be a resource. And if you don't know, I know where to go find it. And then you look it up. Oh, hey. All right. Cool. I think that means, yes, we have bombed through. We did it. We bombed through the slideshows.
How many slides were there? 34?
This to this point.
Because there's 11 pages in the book and 34 slides.
Oh, yes. And this is where I wanted to get to. So some of the information, like this activity 3.5 wants to know your data for your market. That's not in these slides. So that's why I wanted to bomb through. We're at 10:17. Now I want us to be able to go through, dig in the information and get the answers for this. Yeah. So resources for finding information. I'm going to come around here because we don't have slides on this. Actually, I'm going to duck because we don't have. All right. So we're going to talk about resources. Where are we going to find this information for our market? What do you think?
The MLS.
MLS. So we can find information on the MLS. So MLS is going to give us what kind of information?
On the individual markets we were talking about. Like,
Okay.
out of the market statistics.
So they're going to give us information on our market center. So the local stuff.
Right.
Okay. And if we wanted to look up national statistic information, where would we on real estate? Where would we want it?
Maybe RPR?
NAR?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say go to NAR. So NAR is going to give us our national statistics. Plus, they have a ton of other resources. NAR is one of the biggest government lobbying, like they're huge. What is it? The NFR, National Rifle, and NRA. NAR and NRA. Huge, right? So national statistics. So this NAR will get people talking about, they'll be spouting off the industry, real estate industry as a whole, right? Because headlines are usually mostly national. Oh, the market's going to crash, all this stuff, right? It's like, well, nationally speaking, this is the numbers. And locally, though, here's our, what's what's the national average for appreciation, right? Like this is off the top of my head. But I think national average used to be like 3% a year, right? Well, 2008 big market crash, right? The appreciation rate in Corvallis slowed down to 3% instead of 7, 11, 14.
Yeah, everything just went back to normal.
Right? I've seen articles where like Corvallis specifically was named as one of the top 10 towns in the country to invest in real estate. So then that causes me to think, okay, and why is that? Why is that such a hot market? What is the draws? Like that's where we talk about know your market, know your data, and why. Why is that important? Right? So time and again, and I talk about Corvallis because that's generally where my biggest market centers, and that's where I last practiced in Ashford, was in Corvallis. And so what's in Corvallis that would cause that to be such a hot market? Campus, college, right? What else? We used to have HP campus there. We still have Pfizer, so that's huge. So yeah, understanding, looking up, okay, this is the market that I'm, gonna practice in. This is gonna be my niche. Understanding what the driving forces are there. One thing that I saw in Ashbrook time and time again, we talked about college. Parents were buying their kids a house to live in, had their mortgage. The kids were managing, they had a place to live. Mom and dad felt secure with that. The extra bedrooms, they were renting out to roommates. That was covering the mortgage. And then after 4, sometimes 5 years of college, they were reselling the property. We had that 3+% appreciation over the years. And I cannot tell you, because especially being an escrow, I was closing the deals. And then 4 years later, I was closing the sale. And they were cashing out. Essentially, they ended up having a place to live for free, right? Because the roommates paid for it. And they were clearing enough to cover and pay off their student loans. The kids were walking away debt-free, right? Like how huge is that? What an amazing blessing that the parents that had the forethought to do that for their kids. So that's a whole niche, like targeting those things. Or, looking at like aging population. Want to downsize, maybe people that need to transition and move to assisted living. So, reselling those homes. And then that gives them the funds to cover assisted living. So really understanding those markets, especially when HP was in town, they had what was called a relocation program. And so they were bringing people in. And so getting connected to be their realtor of choice for relocation purposes. So knowing those industries, maybe talking to those companies, hey, do you have a relocation program in place? Do you have an agent for that? And if yes, okay, figure out how to be involved, be that agent, be that broker. Or if not, okay, great. Let me tell you how I can serve you and your clients, like how I can be that resource. Find the need and fill it, right? And sometimes you find things that you didn't even know was in need. An example back to, my horse land. I was doing a business plan, and one of the aspects of big cost of any kind of livestock is feed, right? So I was like, wow, if I had a trucker buddy that could haul for me. If I purchased hay by the semi-truckload from the wholesalers, from the growers directly, and I had the facilities to put it up, I did. And then, if I could sell enough to cover my costs for my horse's feed, and that, like, how amazing would that be? When I ran the numbers, I actually found that was 4 times the market, the segment, than doing my horse business. The feed over here, I found could make a profit. There was a need, and it penciled out, right? So doing that would have been 4 times as lucrative as, great, I like to, have my horses and I could train and sell them, right? Like that, I thought was where, but then doing the numbers, doing the market research found that really this segment. So that's where, again, doing your research, you might find that there's a need out there and then figure out how to fulfill that need, right? So resources. What about, so we're talking about employment and unemployment being a factor. So where would we go to look for information on like unemployment for the state? What industries are available? Where would be a resource that we can look up data for, say, Lynn and Benton County, or even a specific city that is related to the economic side of things? So these are real estate specific, but what about the economic resources? Where would we go to find that kind of information? Yes, for Oregon? The state. Just so happens that my dad used to work for the Oregon Employment Office, not the unemployment, the employment, but they're also tied together. The state absolutely keeps track of all of the unemployment statistics, but also the employment side of things. So if you go to Oregon.gov and start punching in searches, you can find you can find the specific data and information and what industries and what resources per town, per so Oregon.gov. What about, we're talking about interest rates. Where would we look for national average? Like what are interest rates? Number one, who dictates interest rates? Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve dictates the prime, and then how do the banks determine what interest rates they charge a borrower? You know?
Treasury Department.
So the Fed, so Federal Reserve, so this is a resource for Federal Reserve. So we keep talking about, oh, the Feds are raising the interest rates, right? They're raising the rate. Federal Reserve. So the Fed sets the prime rate. That is the rate that the Federal Reserve charges banks to borrow the money. Because the banks that loan the mortgage money, they don't have the money. The banks are borrowing it just like our borrowers to get the house. They don't actually have that money, they borrow it. So the Federal Reserve, the Fed rate, that's what they keep talking about when they keep saying, oh, so this is important to know. And have conversations, sit down with your loan officers, like have them, and they got time right now, have them sit down and have the conversations with you. Host an open house together, partner with your, that's a great one too. Open houses, get a lender to partner with you. Have them sit there. Somebody comes through, they're interested in buying, they haven't got pre-approved. Cool, talk to them right here. Like they will help you with promoting, funding, having that resource right there. So if somebody is legitimately interested, you already have the resource. Let's make that happen. Cool. Like just fast track that. So the Fed rate, that's what the Federal Reserve charges banks to borrow the money they're going to loan out. So then the banks add their, what you call your spread. They add another 0.5% to whatever their bank's policy is. And again, that can fluctuate depending on, right now we see money, what we call money tightening. They're getting a little bit stingier, they're charging a little bit more, being more conservative because they're paying more. So it's more expensive. At one point, our Federal Reserve, nothing. So that spread is what they make. So then mortgage borrowers, they make their mortgage payment, they're paying 7% right now. So maybe Federal Reserve, maybe it's 6.5, the bank's charging 7. You make your mortgage payment, and then cool, the bank keeps that 0.5%, and then they got to pay their note too. right? So that's when we talk about like bank inclusions and all of that is when people default base, right? And so that's a whole different class. But know where to find your information. Know and get a feel for where you're at. Used to be when I was in escrow, we did we called it the weekly rate. It was 2 hours. Anyway, I literally called all of our local lenders and said, hey, what are your current rates on conventional, FHA, govy loans, you know, your FHA, your VA. You know, do you have any ARM products? Is it a 5-1, a 3-1, a 7-1? What are your ARM products? What are your ARM rates? And knowing and understanding the different kind of loan programs is critical for being able to work with your buyers and know, yep, you don't determine, like, you want to connect, you want to have a great lender relationship with whatever lender it is out there. I have a side story on that. Don't think I can tell you, but we used to put together, I call every, you know, it was every Monday morning. What are rates today? What are rates this week? We put it on a little spreadsheet, and my manager in his weekly rounds, and then he'd go put it in all the agents. Here's rates this week. We're not doing that these days because rates are still volatile and they can vary throughout the day with where it's at. So nobody's putting that down on a piece of paper and write. But you can go to the Federal Reserve and write on their page. You can scroll and you can look at historically for how long they've tracked it, which I was looking at last night. Kind of crazy. I mean, in the 80s, we were at 18%. Right? Like 18% for a house.
And people are crying.
Exactly. I bought my first house and I bought my rate down to 6.5%. Like, so I like shaved some off there and I was ecstatic. 6.5%, like, woo, because, you know, we'd been running in the 8s the years previous, and then we were at 7s, and I got mine down to 6.5. I was, yeah, you know. So, I mean, 6.5, we were at 7s. That was when I bought 98, I think, was when I bought my first house. So, like, traditionally, especially in escrow, we look at all of this clear back from when they started tracking like the 1900s. It's on average, it's a 10-year cycle. We do this. We do like the wee. I've been in it long enough. This is not my first rodeo or second. So I'm not scared. I'm not, like, real estate's solid. It's going to be there. It's tangible. You got to live somewhere. The conversation I have with clients is, all right, you're paying what are rental rates doing right now? This is a conversation. Rent is way up here. And what do you get for that? Nothing. And you get no appreciation. And how much, and this again, and I preface everything, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, but let's have this conversation. And how much of your rent payments do you get to write off on your taxes? Your taxes. Well, nothing. I'm like, oh, exactly. Versus your interest payments currently, you get to write that off. So my ex, like, when I write it, he only rented before, and I'm like, and we'll be writing like 10 grand worth of interest payments off. You get to write that off. Well, yeah. Why was I renting for 10 years? Because you're a bonehead. Because you're a bonehead. Now, then you do have to, you know, deal with when your water heater breaks. Yeah, but I mean, overall, what is the largest builder of wealth in this country? Real estate. Real estate. Right? So, and you got to live somewhere. Why wouldn't you? Why not? That's always my question. So yeah. So I would say these are my top 4 go-to for getting information. So I'm going to see if I can do one here. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can jump over to show you. We're going to go to our Paragon logins. And I'm going to show you exactly where to find the information for our MLS and how to toggle and utilize and manipulate that. So you can really zero in on. All right. And again, we're not. Oops. Land. I have everything bookmarked on my computer, but we're using the office computer. I have the Federal Reserve bookmarked on there and everything too. So I would add those right in your computer that you're using all the time. Remember login. So I'm going to bring up and show you where to find this information. It's for the MLS specifically. We'll start there because it's really easy. I'm a very visual person. For me, I have to see it. Just go. Go to my member login. Come on. Go to my. Oh, that's true. Yes. Go to Paragon. There we go. All right. So, and it's not shared. I'm gonna screen share it. No, go ahead. I have to stop and then reshare. Stop share. And then screen share. There we go. Okay.
Just like that.
Did it go? Why aren't you going? It shows it on here. Corinne! Corinne, help me.
I'll get her. She's there.
It's showing on here, but it's like.
She has a 6.
All right. You sure? You're gone. Try this again. Go.
There's something on the remote.
I do. No, I thought I was supposed to do it. Save. I'm trying to. I switched over to Paragon. How do I make it screen share? I tried to. It said it's screen sharing it, but it's not.
It's casting the
Oh, it's on the casting part.
casting the tab on the screen.
It should.
Should
See.
resources leverage. We'll just stop casting. Disconnect. Reconnect. There you go.
Yay! Awesome sauce. Okay. See, she's my hero. So if you log into Paragon, and we all have MLS, WB, right? Holler if you don't, but this is kind of the main one because it's the Quad County. When you log in, first page is right here at the top. Stats, and then market. This takes you to what do you got? Doma, USA. This one. Loading. All right, how do I move that? There we go. All right. So here right now, this is the Quad Counties numbers. Right? So median home price, number of closed sales, days on the market, 56. Still 100.4% list price average. So still even have deals closing greater than list price. Average sold per square foot, newest active inventory, and our month supply. So that's again where we're back to. It's still a seller's market. We're not crashing. But say we want to look at, let's look at just Benton County. Cool. Median sales price for Benton County.
Jumped up a bit.
10%.
at 102%. Let's check out Lynn County. But here's Lynn County, what we were 560 something versus 387. But hey, but in Lynn County, that's average. But what if we want to see, well, let's look at Albany. Median price, 430 for Albany. But, so 430 for Albany, what's Sweet Home look like? But, so 430 for Albany, 319 for Sweet Home. So if you get that buyer that's pretty perfect 330, where do you need to be shopping?
Yeah.
Sweet Home. So then, you know, we're talking about our triangle.
And they have more.
And they have more inventory, right? So,
Still not a lot.
here's a great one I like up here at the button. This is like 13-month rolling. I like to compare year to date. How has it changed? I like the bar graphs. Those really help me see. So here's 22. Last year, 330. This year, median price 336. So our sales price, we're crashing, right? Like we're crashing clearly, right? Oh, well, number of closed sales has slowed down. You can see that. This is where I like to look at to interpret the data. What is this telling me? So that I can share with my client, because, oh my gosh, it's crashing. Is it? We were 102.5%. We're still over 100% of list price. We're not crashing. We're actually down a little bit on the, now this is still for Sweet Home, right? So, but say, let's switch.
Because Hayden's so low.
So let's see, but let's go.
Yeah.
All right, so to look at the difference, I switched back to Benton County. This is all of Benton County. So again, we know Corvallis is kind of its own little animal in Benton County, and then there's the county as a whole. So median sales price for year to date. Last year, 503, 527.
Look at the two that have the biggest difference in last year and this year is closed sales and new listings. So we're way down because there's less inventory because people just aren't bringing their houses to the market. Why is that, do you think?
Because if I have a 3.5, 3.75% loan, if I sell my house and I go to buy, I'm looking at 6.5, 7%. What can I buy for that? Even if I've appreciated, made a big chunk down, like, and so I took a screenshot of it actually. I'm reading an article this morning when they had a name for it.
It's not great news for culture.
Right. So that opens up that conversation of like,
This is what we're talking about, because what this means is you have to figure out who your buyer and seller are right now, because there's some people you're wasting your time talking to because they're not moving. If they've got a 2.5% interest rate, they're not moving. If you got the guy who's cash, who bought a house and he's looking to downsize, this is the perfect time for him to sell.
downsizing, yes. Would that not be an incredible niche market to go after right now? You want to downsize? You're still getting over 100% of your list price, and it's appreciated. I was looking at that was showing on NAR has it, but we can also see that in some of these. But the values that have appreciated over the years, like if you bought here, you're up here, you're still going to have a pocket of change to turn around and reinvest in and buy. Some people get, again, relocation, having that referral business. I mean, people have to live somewhere, and circumstances dictate.
I have a question for you. You've been doing this a lot longer than me, so you think too, sometimes one of the challenges as real estate agents is we start focusing on the dollar, and we think people only move. in our heads, we start thinking people only move for financial reasons. When really that's actually probably, I'm curious, in your experience, did you say that's not true?
I agree with you 100%. Because, especially for me, I get very focused on data, right? I want to know that, and because that is how I tend to operate, we used to call it the DISC profile. We do another one now. I think it's called the KPA profile, where we learn about ourselves. I'm very data driven. That's how I process my decision making. For me, I find that emotions, like, I think Lionel shared with me that people they make decisions emotionally, right? Like, and then we can utilize the data to bring it. I have it written. I have a whiteboard because I'm not much of a nerd. It's written down on my whiteboard at home. And I think he's actually teaching the class that we dive into this. The biggest thing that we can do for our clients is to find out their motivation. What is their motivation for buying or selling? That's the emotional component that we need to know for our clients and hang on to. And especially if things are getting sideways or they're having a fear, knee-jerk reaction, buyer's remorse, it happens. I've had clients get into contract and then I've gotten the 10:30 at night phone call. Oh my gosh, I need out, I want out. Number one, if it's my agents calling me, I answer. I do not recommend taking those calls from clients. Let it go to voicemail, call them back in the morning. Sometimes you need to sleep on it. But the thing to do is, and I keep paper copies as well. When I'm talking to a client, my goal is to find out what is their motivation for this. And then I can bring them back to the motivation, right? I had one time, we were in the middle of negotiation for repairs. We got to within $500 between the buyer and the seller where they were at with that. $500, right? And we're talking hundreds of thousands. And the buyer was ready to walk for $500, right? And I said, okay, well, Jeff, I just want to make sure that I am understanding. Like, I want to make sure that I'm fair. So this house is perfect. Like, it's got all the things you wanted. It checked all the boxes. It's in the right school district for your kids. It's within the commute range for you to go to school. Like, you love this house. And we are ready to walk away from it for the $500. And this is the school district that was the whole reason that you moved from Portland here is because you wanted you wanted your kid to go to school. And we found the perfect house. But we talked about that in rule. And we're okay with letting that house go because this $500 point of contention, like, because we're really upset with the seller that they are not willing to do that other $500 credit we asked. We're good. So we're okay to terminate on that, right? And you bring them back around to that and you have that kind of a conversation with them. And then it grounds them. Like, because in buying and selling, it's the biggest transactions. They're like this. They're a roller coaster. It's emotional for them. So I feel a lot, and this is the part that is as challenging for me because that's not how I process. Is my job is to be that grounding force. I have to be steady. I can't be doing this. Now, am I freaking out like, oh my gosh, this is supposed to close and I need that commission because I got my mortgage to pay or what? Yeah, none of that matters. None of my personal emotion stuff, like, that has to be all shut off because it has to be what's best for the client, right? And when you keep them first and foremost, that's what really drives long-term success, is doing best for your client and helping them to maintain. And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come back around and they're like, oh, thank you so much for reminding me of that. But, we have grandparents that want to sell and move so they can be next to their grandkids. The kids had, grandkids now and they want to be close to them. But, oh, this buyer is giving me this whole big repair list. It's just, and they don't, because how often do people buy and sell? Do we know who knows like what the average, on average about 7 years that they own a home. So, but over a lifetime, how many times does somebody buy and sell a house?
2, 3.
Yeah, not that often compared to us in our job. I mean, that's what we're dealing with every day. So like you said, it can become almost lost in the minutia of it,
Yeah, because I just think sometimes we as agents, we get this picture in our head that our prospective clients are sitting at their kitchen table every morning, going through data, deciding, oh, this is a good time to buy, this is a good time to sell. When really what it is they bang their arm one last time on that cabinet and says, I'm out of here. So.
Right. And people always question the market.
Mhm.
So when is the best time to buy? You hear that from Rachel. When's the best time to buy? What's the answer?
When you need to.
Yeah. When you're
When
ready,
it's-
willing, and able, like 5 years ago. Right? Like you got to start somewhere. You got to start now. I've coached, I've worked with a lot of first-time home buyers. Hey, our goal right now, our goal is to get you into a home. Like it's always that first purchase tends to be the biggest barrier. So we might not be getting you into your dream home, but we're going to get you into a home. And in a few years, when you've built that equity, and you'll be able to then leverage that home into buying the next house. And maybe, you get one that checks all the boxes. And so there's some really great classes coming up in Ignite where we dive specifically into those kind of conversations. The triangle of like, you get to pick 2 sides. One of them's got to be, you got to prioritize. And so having those conversations. So that's going to be in like your buyer consultations of like, hey, what's important to you? I know what's important to me, but that's what we were talking about, know your clientele, listen to them. So a lot of the conversations is usually, and these days, like a lot of phone conversation, right? Sometimes I have my paper like fire sheet and I am jotting notes madly. If you're on your computer and you're in command, you can open up that client's contact and there's a notes section and you can do, if you're good past the typing or whatever, and you have to be on your computer, I'm madly putting all of those notes in there. Oh, they want to be like, this is the goal. This is what's important. And this is why. Had a client that was looking to relocate, got under contract for the new house. And again, it was the late night phone call panic. I think I need to back out. Okay. This house was the perfect house for you. We were so excited. What has changed now that like having that, what's changed now that is causing you to feel that way? Well, my daughter's just freaking out because she's gone to the same school for 11 years and next year's going to be her senior year. And oh my gosh, she's just freaking out that she's not okay. So the goal is still to move. So it's not anything about this particular home that's the issue, really, that it sounds like, and again, you don't tell them, you phrase in a lot of questions, like to get them to think. Anybody's ever been to counselors, like they don't tell you, like they just ask a bunch more questions. That's kind of our job. So, oh, okay, well, what is it? Oh, well, because my daughter's freaking out because she's not going to finish all 12 years in her senior year at the same high school she's going to. So yeah, she was really excited about moving, but now she's freaking out. Okay, so it's nothing with this particular home. So there's nothing about the home that we can fix. If I'm hearing you, the issue is that, oh, well, it's the move itself that's distressing. Well, that's still going to be the same no matter what house you pick. So maybe that's a conversation that you have to have with the daughter, and you guys talk about, like, is now really the right time to sell and make that move? Or do you wait that other year for her to get through school? And then you look at selling them, right? And then that's, and in this particular case, that's what ended up happening. It was determined that, you know what? It's more important to me, my relationship with my daughter is more important to me right now to get through this time and get her through school and moved out. That's more important than me making this move. So that's, so then that becomes the plan. Okay, great. And you continue to nurture that client. You put them on it, you continue to nurture so that then, okay, now daughter's moved out. Now we can talk about looking again, right? Like, and so you build that relationship, you build that plan, and you put them on and you continue to follow up with them. And sometimes somebody comes to you interested in buying, they can't right now, the golden client, they can only get 330, but I don't believe rates are going to be here forever based on trends. My prediction is overall, things are going to start to come down, but then we're also going into a presidential election year. Historically, presidential election year, there tends to be a slowing up of the industry. Doesn't matter who gets elected. I don't care what side of the fence anybody's on. Doesn't matter, because everybody puts the brakes on. You will watch traditionally, historically, brakes will be on until after it is determined who gets elected, becomes it off, and then it's up again. So that's my prediction. Yep, is that, hey, it's going to be, it's going to be slower than we've seen, because it was ridiculous the last few years. Let me share this handouts with you. These are the print offs of Benton and Lynn County. But here's where to find the information. And again, you can toggle it by area. You can, and if you want to look at residences of just houses under 5 acres, but here, you have, greater than 5 acres. So if you have somebody that's looking for acreage, that's a different market segment. This was the stars in the way, and the
Sorry.
Here's
Thank you for the training today.
Yeah, we are just up at 3 minutes. So I'm glad we powered through the other one. Here's the stats for that.
Appreciate it.
I did just Benton and Lynn. So you'll have that information for so that's June, and then this one. Also, if you go back to stats and then WBMLS statistics, here is also where you can pull for, you have that investor client that wants, duplex, triplex, fourplex. So you want stuff on just that. Boom. You can pull that information. And so here is a different report, right? And then it's breaking it down. If they're looking at that information, go back here. Come on, it's right in the way. Residential with acreage. They break it down into acreage segments, price per square foot, all of that. One thing that I would like to reach out to MLS about is also if they can include a price per acre when we're talking about like ranching and acreage property, generally ranches and stuff. If it's bigger, if it's like not hobby farm stuff, but if you're actually agriculturally farming and stuff, it's sold on. Typically, it's you're looking at price per acre kind of a thing.
When they do price per square foot, is that the whole property? Or
No, that is the house. When you're farming, ranching, house is the least of your considerations, frankly. My property, I have the big horse arena and the big horse stalls. The house, who cares? I'm never in there. So it could have been whatever. I literally have lived in a barn before. So that's it. This one's great. This is the general, I didn't dare print this one off. It's huge, but look at all of the trends from 97. Like this one is a great one to look at for here locally, Quad County. Diving into this one will help you get a feel for trends in the overall market. So this is like clear back from 97. So let's put it down here. Number of sales, average sales price. Okay, price per area. So you can look down here. So here was 2019 for Benton County, 20. Look, we're just right. Here's that appreciation, the price change. Here's that appreciation numbers that we were looking at. Right. So these are great numbers to share with clients. Like here's historically, or like, are we crashing? I mean, if you're trying to day trade real estate, but
Exactly.
honestly, this is where I get a little sassy.
People
And then-
ask what the market's doing because they want to sound like they're a financially savvy buyer. But I've never really bought that. So.
Right. Like, great. So glad that you asked. Let's have that conversation. New construction. So here, look at Benton County for new construction. Look at all these numbers. Kaiser, Salem, 165.
Is that houses or
New construction. Yeah.
so not like developments?
Correct. Yeah, that's
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not developments. And a great resource for local areas there. At one point, I looked it up, I think it's 2 years ago. The need for housing in Corvallis itself, we were like 900 units short of the demand. Again, that turns around and translates back to why properties appreciate and are so solid there, because the demand far exceeds the inventory there. So supply and demand. So, yeah. So great resources, WVMLS, and again, tap all the free resources you can. Any other thoughts, questions, ahas you can think of at the moment? So then the rest of your packet is you're supposed to spend 2 more hours of making your phone calls, doing your follow-ups, doing those extra activities, educating, studying, digging into, playing with, manipulating, seeing what, I see this trend. Well, what's driving that? When you see those spikes or when you see those trends, why? That was always my favorite, my poor parents. My favorite question growing up, why? So ask those questions, and then that way you have those answers for your clients. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because that's always the big question is when you see something, it's like, why did the market change? What was the drivers?
Mhm.
I was just gonna ask for your phone number and
Oh, yes. Here, let me share my contact. Do you have an iPhone?
I did.
Perfect. That's what I have. So I will just share my contact to you. Here we are. Open, share contact. You probably don't need my home address.
I'll write some parcels, it sounds like.
Okay, what is your phone number?
541 286
286
2512.
2512. Ta-da, ta-da. Okay. Perfect. And then you can just save it. I do all of that with all of my clients too, buyers, all my lender contacts. I save in my contacts for home inspectors. I put their name and then I'll put the company name dash inspector. So when I have a client that needs referral for inspector, I just go search inspectors and then boom, here's my list. Well, guys, septic. The other day, that I started to asbestos. In all my years, for the first time, we had a buyer that wanted to have the home tested for asbestos. Cool. This is the first. So number one, your regular home inspector doesn't do that. So, and we always want to refer 3. So I had to, okay, I need 3 asbestos folks. And then I called them and I had the conversation. And what is this, 'cause I needed to educate myself more. What does this entail? What does this look like for the buyer? Because the buyer thought, well, I got a home inspection and it's an older home. So the home inspection is going to include a sewer scope and lead-based paint and asbestos and mold and all these things. And I'm like, no, those are separate that you pay for. And your inspector can do some a la carte add-ons of those, but the asbestos is not one of those. So that's different. And here's this range and call out fee anywhere from $75 to $350 plus $25 to $50 to $75 per sample, but you have to tell them what you want sampled. Like, but I thought it's an asbestos survey. They'll just like use this magic wand and it'll scope the house and tell me what it has asbestos in it. And asbestos is destructive testing, seller has to agree to it, and you as the buyer are responsible for repairing that damage because they had to punch the hole in the drywall to test it. So now and you got to pay for all of that on top of the testing. So get an asbestos tester and contractors, then they can also repair it, but that's going to be a separate charge too. And so I spent all of this research, right? I spent an entire morning calling, getting the call back, talking with the inspectors, big, long, big, nice email with like hyperlinks for them to call and connect, figure out who you want to use and timing. Blah, blah. And then the buyer's, okay, yeah, no, never mind. But hey, I learned a whole lot more. I saved that big long email as a template. So I have that. Next time, if that comes up, I know who to call. And they're all saved as asbestos in my phone. You want asbestos? There you go.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
All righty. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for coming and showing up. I sure appreciate
This
it.
was good.
Good times, right?
Yeah, exactly. I do feel like I learned something. That's
I
always
like
refreshing.
geek out and I start digging into stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, why is that? And then I dig into that and I go, oh, why is that? Like, I go off on all these rabbit trails.
This, for me, it's the same thing. You know, people throw out these statements like, well, how do you know if that was true? What is your, well, they're saying it on the news. Okay, but that's just words. Let's look at the actual information.
Right?
Yeah.
Data. I'm all about it. I'm like, oh, well, actually, here's the median price. And here's, just look at the trend for here locally. So
Yeah.
they're like, buying is solid.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And they're going to get into like actual classes on like then how you have those conversations. So where to find the data and then how to have those conversations and back up the data. So it's really helpful. I really appreciate all of the education for us.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why I came to Keller Williams this time around. Just the exact same thing is because their education was really good. They said in the support. So just for me, it was like, I'm gonna make that.
Oh my
change.
gosh. When I first got my license, so I had even been working for my now doing all this other stuff when I got my license. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be an agent. And I sat at my desk and I was like, all right, the phone's gonna ring.
Phone's gonna ring. Yeah, I know.
There was no, But so this is helpful.
And it's all those people who were like, you should become a real estate agent. You'd be really good at it. And then got my license. Where's everybody? All those people, they disappeared.
Where'd you go? Yeah.
Oh, where were you 3 years ago? That kind of, yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, you have a great day.
You too. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay.